Before I start the podcast today, I would like to pay tribute to Diego Armando Maradona, a legend, an inspiration, a colorful human being who gave Napoli, Argentina, and the world of football something to be proud of. A true legend that marked many generations, a man of the people. Thank you, Diego Armando Maradona, for all the memories that and emotions that you gave us. My thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends.
You are listening to the Londonpreneur Show, a podcast that inspires entrepreneurs of all ages to create meaningful businesses and pursue their passions. My name is Tiago Correia, a technology sales professional and business advisor, and I'm sitting down with entrepreneurs in London to talk about their process, the lessons they've learned, and how to make an impact. If you are new to the channel, welcome, and please do not forget to subscribe. If you are already a subscriber, it's nice to have you back.
Without further ado, we would like to start the podcast by welcoming Niki Clarke, Sensei, entrepreneur, founder of a family-friendly martial arts school, Clarke School of Choi Kwang, located in Teddington and Shepperton. Before I start and before going to you, Nick, I would like to ask you something and to see if I haven't made a mistake here. Is it correct to say Sensei? Are you a sensei, or can you
Yes.
explain a bit?
So yeah, sensei is I am a sensei. So within Japanese martial arts, say karate, I'm a sensei. What I teach has its roots in Taekwondo, South Korean. So the South Korean alternative, which same would be a sabanim.
Okay.
But most commonly, people know it as a sensei. It's the same thing, same name in a different language. It means the teacher or instructor, like a sifu in Chinese arts as well.
Back home, we also use the term master. I don't know if this is a term here as well that you could.
Yes, within Choi Kwang, what I teach, you're considered a master when you get to fifth dan. So,
Okay.
for example, my teacher is a master. So when you get to fifth dan, which takes many years, I'm a second dan, not far
Okay.
off third. So we use it as a term, and then obviously master for 2 dans, and then grandmaster, which is
Okay.
quite common. Well, so it's working towards grandmaster.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for clarifying that. We are on lockdown too. How you been? You and yourself, and your family. Obviously, everyone safe. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, good. I mean, I think obviously first lockdown at the time everyone wanted it, and it obviously went quite long. This lockdown's a bit shorter, and they've obviously kept to the lockdown because when you go into it, you think, is it going to last a long time? But it's been literally the time they said, which has been good. But yeah, no, everyone's well. Just obviously social distancing. People are you don't see people as often, all that sort of thing. With a school going to online classes, but yeah, no, all well and good. It's just keep your life's a bit quieter. There's not so much to do. Going out wise, I think everyone's keen to be able to go back out and eventually mix and all of what we took for granted before eventually.
Yes, I mean maybe it's a good thing not to see as many people as we used to before. To have a little break from people sometimes.
Yeah, in some ways it's probably worked out okay for that. Yeah. But it's no, lockdown 2 is okay. Everyone's well and just keen to get back. A few more days, we're back out of it.
For those listeners who don't know who you are, can you share a little bit about your journey to where you are today?
Sure. Okay. So I currently where I'm at is I run a school, 2 schools now. So I started off as a student, just doing it as a hobby when I was working in my previous career. And yeah, I've just taken it upon myself to set up a school. It's gone quite well. Where we've obviously grown a lot in the past 2. We've gone into our 3rd year. Then I've opened up a 2nd school. So I'm just looking to work towards building an academy. The 2nd school as well, in the past couple of months, we've already filled some of the classes as well. So, so at the moment, we're just sort of still building. And coming from my background, I'm basically from music industry, is what I've done for many years prior to this. So I've been entrepreneur. I've had 2 other companies as well.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so using that sort of what I've learned through business and the mistakes of basically I come from an independent business background, so I apply a lot of that to my current business in terms of the way not only teaching martial arts but the way customer service and social media engagement type of thing. So I sort of utilize those skills to put it into a business frame.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was not aware that you had a music background, and that you ran a business before you started the school, and that you are planning to grow. Can you tell us a little bit about Taekwondo as an art? How does it differentiate from other martial arts?
Yeah, good question. So where that sits, Tiago, is it has its roots in Taekwondo. So a lot of people will know Taekwondo, which become big over in the West in, I'd say, mainly the 60s, 70s. Obviously, karate, the main ones people know is like karate, judo, jiu-jitsu, Taekwondo. So 30s or so years ago, Grandmaster Choi, that was one of the original masters. There were 12 masters spread in Taekwondo over the world from General Choi. He got an injury through performing his martial art, which was not uncommon, to do with a stretch in the full lock kicks, and he recovered from a very serious injury, and out of that took him 7 years to design a new art. So it was born kind of, the roots are in Taekwondo. I guess the difference with Choi Kwang is the lines are a lot more circular. So whereas in karate, Taekwondo, you get very straight blocks, very straight kicks that go full lock, meaning you fully extend the leg when you perform the kick. Grandmaster Choi felt these were not good, not sort of congruent for the body's long-term health. So he redesigned the art with long-term health and health in mind. Choi Kwang is a lot more circular, so there's no full lock, no what we would call unnatural punches or kicks. So it's supposed to promote optimum health, give you more longevity, and based on my experience of it, and as I get older, I feel fitter each year. Is the only way I can describe. So Choi Kwang, I mean, many arts have similarities, but Choi Kwang is designed with that in mind. Is health over a long-term period rather than wrecking your body doing sort of fantastic moves.
Does it include any elements of yoga?
Yes, yoga, as you know as well, being involved in it, the stretches, all that type of thing. There are elements that you'll probably recognise within the stretch as well. Yoga, it takes a lot of elements into it just to be for flexibility, well-being, stuff like that. But yeah, there's yoga within some of the warm-ups as well and cool-downs.
That's really interesting, because it's not let's put it in it's not as aggressive as other martial arts, right? So anyone pretty much could practice this martial arts. You can still be aggressive and let's say hit someone if you need to, because you get the training, but is a bit softer when comparing to Taekwondo or other martial arts.
I think if you were comparing it, say, to MMA or Muay Thai,
okay,
the arts, Taekwondo, I'd actually say ours is more aggressive. I'll be honest, because there's a point system. It's not, and they don't have many punches.
Okay.
So although it's in that vein, but I think you're absolutely right. I think that's a bonus with it. So people coming in, sometimes people worry when you start going into a martial art, am I going to go in? Am I going to be terrible? Am I going to get hit and beaten up?
Yeah, be beaten up by someone. Yeah.
It is a very forgiving art. It is soft in its approach in teaching you. So you are learning how to hit and kick stuff, applying it how you want. If you want to hit full power, you can. But it's a more softer way of learning, as opposed to that sort of, it's not like a military style training camp.
Cool. Do you follow any other forms of martial arts?
I have not currently, because of the amount I teach. I've pretty much put my allegiance into this. It takes up a lot of my time. But I have an appreciation of other arts when starting out. And I remember at one point I was doing Wing Chun as well. I was kind of ambitious before my first black belt. I started doing other arts as well, because I just saw it as complementing the same thing. So I'm all pro other arts.
Wing Chun is that art that they actually use the energy of the opponent, right?
Yeah, in a way. So I can't say I've mastered it or anything, but it's got close quarter. They do sort of chamber punches. very complex footwork. It's close quarter fighting, exactly. So if a punch is coming in, you kind of pull the person towards you, counter strike, sort of grab at the same time. Yeah, exactly. Using their energy.
There's a very good movie of martial arts. I can't remember the name of the master that plays in that movie, but actually
it a wing? Is it one that you've seen, or is it Ip Man?
One of the movies, even Mike Tyson comes on.
Yeah, man.
What's
Man. Ip Man, like IP.
Ip Man, yeah, that's the one. Yes.
So yeah, that's like a Wing Chun master movie. Yeah, because Mike Tyson's in it with his like when he's got tattoos on his face.
Exactly.
I think like number 3. There's 4 of them. Yeah, that's
4 of them.
Chinese. Like that's where they have sifus in it rather than senseis. But yeah, no. I was just fascinated. Like you enjoy martial arts, or what type of martial arts? Because you obviously have an interest to learn.
I don't have an interest. When I was a kid, when I was young, I was interested in kickboxing, but that was because of my influences, because of people around me at the time. They were practicing kickboxing, nothing in particular. Judo, karate. Karate I don't like as much. Inchan is a good one because I like the philosophy that goes with it. The use of energy, the use of the opponent's energy. That you can then master that, and also because I Hitman, right? I watch his movies actually one after the other. I think was it 3 or 4 years ago, and I just went crazy. I was just thinking about practicing martial arts, and I was always seeking to practice, looking for a place to put, but I never had the will, or never to actually do it. I never took any action, and only recently I done a search, and I said, okay, yeah, let me have a go. And then I saw your school, and I mean, the good thing was just because it was just around the corner. I said, this is perfect, right? So it's just there. So I just have to walk there. So if I don't go there, I won't do martial arts ever, And I think is a good way, not only to exercise your body to keep yourself fit, but also to for your mind, I think, and especially during lockdowns and things like that. I think he helps. He helped me a lot during lockdown, to be honest with you, right? Because
I'm the same here. Just in general, it's funny with martial arts. It's almost like it's kind of like a rock in a way that, because I can appreciate what you're saying. Mentally, it sort of gives you something. I don't know, like even it's not you. It's physically you get a lot out of it, but just it's like even for like dealing with stresses, it just gives you a certain sort of strength or something about it. Or a sort of growth, or some martial arts is good like that as well, where it can be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, can you share one thing that you wish to know before you began your journey in martial arts?
In what way do you mean that?
In martial, in a way that when you became a sensei and you started running your school, any let's say things that you wish you knew before you started, let's say as an entrepreneur.
So I guess because originally I just started it as a hobby, like most people do. I've sort of flipped with different arts, so I just did it as a bit of fun around work, and it sort of gets you pumped. But I guess going into it more seriously, it's a couple of things. One, I've always been very disciplined. When I want to sort of do something I just set my mind to it and do it, whether that's business or the physical. And obviously, like I said, I think the ingredients are coming from that independent business background as well. Really gave me like a spark. I looked at overall, as a business as well in terms of growing it. Because I think a lot of times when people start schools, it's sort of difficult to get that initial thing people in. But if you're at the end of the day, it's a great art, meaning it's a great product. If you're personable or engaging with people, you're giving people a high level of customer service and good relations, then it's just a case of building it using internet, Google, all that type of thing. So I think the independent business skills really gave me an edge. Because I went into it not just as an aspiring to hoping that people would come. I went into it with a view that I'm going to build an academy. And also I had great support. People in martial arts are very helpful. Previously in music industries, no one's helpful at all. You have to make it entirely off your own back. No one will help you. They'll do the opposite. They want to stamp you down. And when you are doing well, they want to get on top. Martial arts people are helpful. There have been masters that have helped and been open with information that run successful schools and have given me information. I network within not only the art, but other arts as well, big school owners. And one important thing was they said, open it with the end goal in mind. So when I opened it, I knew, what do I really want? And what I want is to open up an academy, a big full-time building or more. Okay. So that I've always had many classes over many days, expanded to other schools. So it's always been my dream to give people something great value, like they want to do it, for as long as they want to do it, and just turn it into something bigger. So that, I guess, that business background really helped give me a spark.
So having an academy would mean that you would have your own building, your own facilities, your own training facilities, right?
Yeah, so I've got my eye on some. I won't say for the purpose of this because I have to keep the cards close to my chest. But in Teddington, a 2,500 square foot building, which to then convert into a martial art facility, with 400 or 500 students would be ideal. So it run 6 days a week. You do your classes. You might also get yoga class. Basically, you pay one price. You get yoga, you get martial arts, you get a gym, you get hit bags, you get to meet loads of friends. It will be a one-stop shop for your body, mind, and soul.
That's good. Yeah.
That's really the aim.
Yeah, I mean, I think we lack that in the community here, because we don't really have many gyms or academies, let's put it this way, or one-stop shop that I can go in and say, if I want to have a martial art class, I can have a martial art class. But if I just want to work out in the gym, I just do some workouts or take a yoga class. I don't see much offer.
You get the gym will do some of that with their classes. You mentioned the word community. That's exactly what it would be, is a hub of the community where you'd want to go there even when you're not training. Yeah. You can go to a yoga class, you can get many yoga classes, you can go to the gym, but it's that connection where, what I want to do is give them the whole thing around martial arts. Like you say, it's the mind as well as the body. So you would just get the whole thing. So really, that's what we're looking to sort of build.
How, from a business perspective, right? And how did, martial arts shaped, what you are today as a business person, and as an individual, of course?
It changed my life. It's going to sound it changed my life. It's funny, I messaged my master a few days ago, and I thank him from time to time. I'm very grateful for meeting him and the support and the art. Everyone, I've just made so many friends through it. It changed my life, because you have to bear in mind, going back to think about working in music, although you have to be quite shark mentality, meaning you have to stop people stabbing in the back before they stab you in the back.
to be very competitive, and
it is. It's highly, and it's you sort of become normalized and used to it if you want to succeed and make money in it. Now the thing is with this is it's honourable. It literally changed my life. It's just I'm way happier, to the point I've just left that, what I was doing, or settled my interest in it. It just changed my life, because then it's just better for me, and it has a reflection not only business but personal life, relationships. It's more stable, it's more honourable. I love honour. I just love when people say they're going to do something. I just loyalty and honour. I just expect it as a standard. So I have a lot of loyal people and friends and that. Yeah. Sort of. So as a business, I just think it's really good for you, like very positive. It's sort of my business shape future.
That did it help you? I mean, obviously, I've run a company before. I had my own company many years ago, and I had just finished university, and I studied business. And when I came out of university, my perception of reality was a bit different. I mean, was somehow unrealistic. So, I had the knowledge, the theory that I've brought from the university. I had some working experience already, because I was already not old. I mean, I was already mature. I mean, I was already 24, 25 when I joined university, and then when was during my university time, that during the summer breaks, and that I had my first experience as a salesman and so on. But one of the things, that I had to be like really spot on, and I wasn't. I'm honest, I wasn't in the beginning. Right, is disciplined, right,
Mm.
and in terms of timekeeping, you be the first one in the office, the last one to leave,
Mm.
and have a self discipline on all aspects. I mean, mentally and also all the aspects of the business. Like keeping the books and all the expenses and the money of the company completely separate from your personal expenses, so you wouldn't miss any payments, not only to your suppliers but also to your employees, to the people that work for you, right? That couldn't be missed. Do you think martial arts, can and the mindset can help you, having that discipline when running a business?
Uh, yes, I do 100%. Not only for business, but for achieving in general, say with kids, with adults. So the reason how it correlates or how it's good for the mind that I believe is, so for example, you do your gradings, you get your first belt, your white senior, yellow belt, and you build up like anything in life. So when we're teaching kids, or the way I view it, because we have obviously we're potentially influencing their future in a positive way. Every step is a step towards your goal or dream. To achieve your dream takes hard work, discipline, and just sticking with it, just no matter what. So the way I look at it is, yes, you can get a black belt in martial arts, but you can also get a black belt in life. So you might start a business. You start a business as a white belt, meaning you got all the spirit, but
Yeah.
you know the skills. You don't start as a black belt, and you just slowly build up bit by bit, achieve bit by bit. It might not go to plan, but yeah, 100%. That mentality is not just the achievement of that, but you just apply it to anything. You get a black belt or become a grandmaster in life, in business.
Yeah.
So yeah, that mindset. Yeah, I strongly believe that.
Did you, I mean, throughout your journey as an entrepreneur, did you face any setbacks? um,
Yes, a ton of always. So I probably made a majority of mistakes with my first company. So when I
okay.
left, so like yourself, so you go to college, or so I had a choice. I'd go to university. Someone offered for me to become a company director in my first business when I was like 20. So I went to college a couple of years later.
Yeah.
So yeah, I made a ton of mistakes. I made a ton of good decisions, ton of mistakes. Like
Yeah.
the whole first company was like, overall, it was sort of like
But you learn from it, right? It's important that people understand that, because making a mistake, um, or some people say, "Oh, we learn from our failures," right? Maybe failure is a harsh word, or term. I would like to say maybe more setbacks. We have some setbacks in life. Yeah, we may fail, we may fall, but then maybe that will help us move forward better, right, growing.
Yeah, I mean, it will always, you're always going to have mistakes. The main thing is try not to make them with financial decisions.
Yes, that's important, and not throw your life away. I almost thrown my life away during those days. It was I mean, I made a huge mistake. I mean, I took a loan. I remember taking a loan, spending all the money that I had from that loan, going into credit cards, and I can tell you that then
That's
after I managed to recover, but was very harsh. Very, I was
well,
young, but
that's a great lesson, and hopefully the money amount was manageable enough that it was like a learning lesson,
yes, it,
like
it,
life.
it was manageable. It was manageable to recover, and I'm glad the bank didn't give me more at the time, because if they would have given more, I would have probably taken that money, and it would have put me in a very hard situation, because I didn't have enough know-how, to. So I was just throwing money at the business
Mhm.
without any
That,
thought.
and this was your first venture,
My
yeah.
first venture, yeah.
Same. That's what you do. You just sort of put the money. You go with whatever you think is a great.
Mm.
That's the way you do it, and then you sort of learn. You'll learn some good stuff. See, the thing is, why I mention the money thing is, if you make a mistake without it costing anything, really that mistake is valuable learning. So therefore, it's only knowledge and wisdom. So it's all good. A mistake is good. When it
Yeah.
comes to money, it a bit different. You want to minimize the way I look at it. Say with a business is, like Dragon's Den.
Yes.
Or go to Dragon's Den. So you have to so when I started this martial arts school, I thought, or the academy, what I'm not going to do is go and borrow a huge sum of money or sell some stuff to, put a whole ton of money into an empty academy, because if I went on to Dragon's Den and said, "Oh, lend me 200 grand, I've got a great idea, I've got no students," that is not a sensible business plan. So what I have to do is grind out, build up my own market, fill up the school so I've got a waiting list, and then say, "Look, can you finance an academy?" And they go, "Yeah, great, because you've got a full school." So the point is, don't cut those little things, don't waste that money, have the money come in first, don't be pouring all the money out into marketing. So it's that sort of come for experience, which is grind out, build up the demand, because if they went on Dragon's Den and they said no, they say no for a reason. You want demand, sell out, and then if you take on money a small amount. So you have to just try and minimize your sort of mistakes through financial, definitely. But it's just work.
It is. I mean, it is. In fact, you're absolutely right. I mean, you need to try and have an organic growth, right?
A bit. You need a bit of money to put in, but keep it. You're in, get a bit out. In, get a bit out. If you have to put in a large sum to make it happen, it's not quite right. You need to put a bit, because you need to be professional as well. I mean, just generally for people, put a bit in, sort of make it happen so it's professional. You've got all your stuff around it, so it's looking good.
Do you have like a rule in place? Let's say, like, for each amount of revenue you generate, you attribute a percentage, let's say, to marketing operations or whatever it is?
It's difficult in this specific business, because obviously went some training and stuff like that. Google is obviously a main way to advertise. So the way I look at it, it's like I can only speak specific for this, so I don't know if it's helpful or not.
Yeah.
So in terms of advertising for a web-based, I took on the most expensive web-based builder of martial art academies. So I thought, okay, it's better to have a good front. And then Google is really the mainstream of where you get customers from. Like, I can put a poster up, but I might get 1 out of 1,000 posters. It's nothing. That's like really old school. Google, as you know, is where everyone searches for a service like mine. So really, that's where I want to be. So it takes months to build up your website, organic ratings. You want the best SEO, all of that sort of stuff. You have to have all the words coming up, the keywords, the leading pages. That has to be all professional and the best it can be. And then some Google AdWords, just looking at your click-through rates. They say a good click-through rate is above 2 or 3%. I managed to get mine to like 10+%, which is very high. That's read the book on Google marketing. I'll find the book somewhere. It's another book. So I just did a lot of reading, research. I don't know about Google AdWords. What did I know? But I read it, put my head together, and then I dominate. Just through knowledge.
So you do that yourself, basically.
Yep, and it all pays off. It streams people in, and don't put massive amount. But the way you look at it, or the way what I was told, it's like you're paying money to get money. So I might spend £100 to make 1,000. So the question is, would you give me £100 if I give you 1,000 back? Well, of course you would. It's a no-brainer. But what you don't do is go and put 10,000 into it. You build up with SEO rankings. It takes 3 or 4 months to get your site really ranked where you want it to be.
That's a good advice. I mean, and you're doing it yourself. You're not paying any third party. Just a little bit of effort to do some research.
The third party, I took on the best builders. But all the Google AdWords, all that sort of thing, streaming them in is from my knowledge of business. I take care of that. I pay minimal. If I would have paid them to do my Google AdWords, they'd charge me a fortune. I'll be honest with you, I pay 65 quid a month and get a never-ending stream of customers. So the point is, because of reading a certain book and just taking that information and structuring it professionally, making it match. Also, the name of your website is important. So you don't want to call it something that people are never going to search. Am I say what my website is called?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, it's a shameless plug. So my school is called Clarke School of Choi Kwang. although that's the name of my school, no one in a million years is ever going to look it up. So the website is called Teddington Martial Arts. So the point is, whatever business you're doing, think of the area, if it's a service, if it's relevant rather than product, what is someone going to search? Well, that is the name of your website, because then it comes up top, Teddington Martial Arts, local to that area. People are going to look. Clarke School of Choi Kwang, who's going to look at that? Just maybe my mum, a few people that know. I'm never going to get business from that. It's no offense to me. My website's still called that internally because that's the name of my school, my branding. But you have to just be smart with the way the terms, like what you have to think about what they're looking for as as a business rather than yourself.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, actually, when I look for the school, I mean, I probably did Twickenham Martial Arts or Teddington Martial Arts. So because I'm in full, so the pickup, and then you get your school.
If I would have called it Clarke School of Choi Kwang, I wouldn't even come up.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I wouldn't even know, because when I was searching, I was not searching for any specific martial arts. I was just looking around. So if your school would pop up, I don't know, jiu-jitsu, I would probably have signed up, honestly, because I was looking for martial arts. Just to give you an example, I don't know if I would, but because it's shown there, if you would have another wording, it would be different, isn't it? I wouldn't find you. Yeah, that's
relevant to other businesses as well.
Yeah,
but in terms of the success of bringing people in, it's simple things like that as well.
Yeah, it is. It is very useful. I mean, it's marketing, right? And the world now is, like you said. I mean, Google, right? When you want to find out something, what you do, you Google it, right?
Pretty much the percent of all of it. If you put your energy into one thing, Google.
Yeah.
Or you got some other bits and pieces, but that's like a minor. That's like the fringe, like putting posters out or going to people's doors. Google is really it.
I mean, I don't think, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Do you still use those means of marketing?
What, the old school ways?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do a little bit. So the thing is, as well, I don't just rely on one thing as well. So what I do is, so I have done some, I've still got posters up in shops, because the way I look at it is I want to dominate. So I don't get complacent. I use the main way, subways as well. In terms of what I do as well, obviously being in a school in an area, I've also advertised within newsletters of local schools, made connections through people, teachers I know as well, so that I'm sort of pulling from, because schools is obviously where I get a source of students. So you've got to think, so in terms of relevance to your business or service is, I won't rely on one way. I'll look at all ways and see, and then I have software where I gauge where people joined from.
Okay.
So I have measurements of what works as well. But I'm willing to try everything.
Can you do you have people coming from a poster in Tesco's or in a local school, something like that?
So I've got so I've only had, like, from my posters that ever went out, I think I've only ever had 2 people join.
Okay.
Which is great.
Better than nothing. I mean,
that's 2 people I would never have had, and they're really good students. So that's a success. Was it worth me walking around and offering out posters? Well, 100%.
Yeah.
Not like from Google, I've probably had hundreds of trials come through. But the point is that had I not put that poster, I wouldn't have got that student. So it's all worth it for the sake of what you posters.
You need to try multiple channels, isn't it? You need to.
I think, like, measuring, what you do is you put a little bit of money into it, measure, is it worth, and then decide, do I keep it or cut it off? Always sort of try something, be innovative, and you just measure. If it brings nothing, then you don't repeat it. But all things of sort of different mediums as well.
I mean, that's definitely a helpful resource, right? Google AdWords, right? It's like Facebook ads and Instagram ads. And
see, this is the thing. Okay, Facebook, get me onto Facebook. Some people thrive off of Facebook.
Yeah.
I hate it. Like, it really, I don't enjoy the Facebook advertising thing at all. And particularly from music as well. They used to do it. They put all these algorithms on. years ago, you could put stuff on there, it would organically go to thousands of people. They started suppressing it and you had to pay for it.
Yeah.
That was a big change on Facebook. So basically, like a big negative, costs, it's like costs not money. Facebook, you have to make very personable, tuition or emotional. Facebook advertising, I try it, but I really struggle. Some people swear by it, but you have to sink a lot of money into it.
Yeah.
It's a little
I think if you have like a more like a physical product to sell and ship, would probably work better on Facebook, right? Merchandising, for example.
For this, yourself or someone else that you speak to would probably have to educate me on this. Facebook, I struggle with. Google Ads, definitely. There's like people go on Google. Facebook is something that I'm quite iffy about.
I'm honest, right? I struggle a little bit with Facebook nowadays and how it operates, as well as the ads, right? I know it's expensive and it's a risk for someone who's starting and doesn't really know, the return.
You have to sink a lot of money into it to reach people with guarantee whatsoever.
Yeah, you need, but it works. It works. I know people who sell stuff off Facebook and Instagram because the same thing, right? So when you post on, Instagram actually is Facebook ads, right? Because Facebook acquired Instagram, so it's the same. It's like the same platform, just different concepts. I guess if you want to sell, I don't know, 1,000 units of something, it might be worth investing there.
Yeah, it's probably maybe more product based, but people do have great success with it. But I sense a lot of people pour money into that and don't see nothing from it.
Yeah, but you need to have followers, and there's a lot. I mean, having Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, they all operate in different ways, right? I personally struggle, for example, with Twitter. I don't enjoy the platform as a user. I don't enjoy the platform. And then you need to really create a lot of visibility so that you gain many followers, and that requires quite a lot of effort. So you need to be every day within all platforms creating content and sharing content, and then these people will start following you, and the more followers, the higher is your conversion rate, right? That's how it works. Or you really have to pour money into the ads and get something, hoping that you're gonna get something out of it. But I see all sorts of things selling on Facebook. I mean, products from, actually, I got quite funny experience from Facebook. One ad that I saw at the time, I was interested in doing some videos and stuff, and I bought this chemo that was with AI that would basically track your movements and follow you as it was recording on your mobile, and was a legit product, right? So when I ordered it and I saw the price like 50% off, I said, oh, this is a good deal. So I checked, so I bought it, and then when I bought it, it took like a month and a half, 2 months to be delivered. This was during lockdown. And when I actually received the physical product, it was nothing like the product.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a scam, basically.
It's a scam, yeah.
You see all those lightsaber ones. This is going off topic, but anyway, there's light ones where it says you get this Force Effects lightsaber black limited edition for like 40 quid, and they send you a little £5 cheap Chinese plastic toy.
Yeah.
Don't complain. I complained to PayPal, kicked up a fuss. I got my money back because basically, and they said a lot of people don't complain. They're ripping you off, just sending. And there was a little spider jump out the box. I'm sure people watching this all you sort of open a box and then you're like, a little spider pops out. They show you a really big one in the ad. I ordered one for my sister for Christmas because I was going to try and scare her. And they send you this really cheap homemade sort of thing. Yeah, I'm always, it goes back to that classic thing, if it's too good to be true. Because the other day I was like, there was something on there and I was like, that's really awesome. And I was like, remember what happened about the lightsaber? Because some people on there just love, and I don't know how they get away, but basically I feel like Facebook is almost legitimizing scamming you.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's not only on Facebook. It's Facebook, it's YouTube, it's on all platforms. I actually complained to PayPal, and then they gave me the refund. but was just the time I've waited for it, and I really wanted that product.
Yeah.
And then I ended up with a plastic
I,
stick.
I, I feel you, Tiago. I really wanted a lightsaber. I can't tell you how much at that time that was like important to me.
Yeah, and from that day on, what I said to myself is like, I'm not buying anything off these dodgy adverts, and I decided I use Amazon, although Amazon, goes a little bit against the small businesses and all that stuff because, but it's easy, it's reliable. If you have any problems, you send back, they give you the refund, they deliver on time, customer service is
Yeah,
excellent. And
yeah, Amazon. If you've got a problem, you can send it back. Doesn't matter
yeah,
what it is.
yeah, it doesn't matter. And or small local businesses. Although
Uh,
I think local businesses, they need to start thinking on how they differentiate themselves and have a little
mhm.
bit more exposure online, right? Because the traditional local shop, I think, is going away sooner or later. So they need to start moving online, and to do
Do
that,
you mean just because of the change of times, or because of lockdowns? You mean, or
I mean, I think is the change of times, and I think this whole COVID, situation is just accelerating the change. Right, is inevitable. I mean, you could see. I mean, if you walk here in the high street in probably Twickenham, because it's the longest one, you see many
Mhm.
of those shops and restaurants, they're closing down. No one goes there. No one walks by. No one stops there to buy anything. And then some of those shops are like, what do you really buy in it, right? You go online, you have more offer.
So this kind of comes into another part of business, which is as well any business doesn't matter what it is, being susceptible, changing with the times,
Yeah.
regardless of uh, with adversity, changing and being able to adapt. Because you went through that era of, remember when the internet was coming out, shops, online shopping, mail order shopping, shops that didn't go with it, music industry, many shops would go down because they saw this as, what is this? But you have to go with it. So to make businesses work. Same for myself. Sometimes things happen. Anything can change. You have to be able to sort of alter what you're doing a bit to sort of innovate.
Yeah, I mean, you need to keep innovative. I mean, it's key. It's key for for your business and with technology, with internet, and with AI and automation. I think our lives are going to change for hopefully for the better. I have my reservations, not because I love technology, right? I work with technology. That's how I make my living, right? Um, but my only concern is that we end up handing over power to just a handful of people, right? And when I say power, purchasing power, because then, one day the local cafe will be run probably by Amazon, right? I read an article the other day that Amazon is already planning to enter the pharmaceutical. So a pharmacist, sooner or later, in a few years' time, maybe from now to 5 to 10 years' time, is going to be out of business, right? Because if he's not Amazon there or online doing it online, and if they do online, and if they do as well as they do the other services, I mean, why should I bother walking to Teddington Pharmacy if I can just order online and it's quicker,
Mm.
right? And probably cheaper. And that's what concerns me. Small businesses, they employ a lot of people, right? And if these companies start taking over all types of businesses, we're gonna have a lot of unemployment, a lot of inequality, right?
So do you find yourself, say in terms of small local businesses, do you go in there and spend money in there or be a customer because you feel like you want to put your money into the
I do that. I like to go to a local cafe, have a coffee and stuff like that. Although I must say that the quality of coffee in the UK is a bit. I have to be honest, right? It's
is
very
amazing?
difficult.
Is it like
It's
the
different. I would say it's different, right? And then when you compare to the big brands, let's say the Starbucks, the Costas, the Cafeneros, although it's not the best coffee, but still better than many of the local
where's the
cafe.
best coffee? London, UK. What's the best coffee?
I don't know. It's hard to tell. I've no. It's. I don't. I got so used. I normally go to Starbucks, or I go to Costa or Nero. Those are the
Mm.
three I go
Yeah, that's
to.
where would you rate McDonald's coffee? I'm not a big coffee person, but when I drink that, I feel like it's like I could clean my.
I never had McDonald's coffee.
Uh,
Never. I rarely go to McDonald's.
okay.
That's one. I I've been there a couple of. If I go once a year, is already
Mm.
too many.
You're not missing out. Yeah, don't try their coffee. It's terrible.
Oh,
I don't know
really?
why.
I believe you. I mean, no, I go to Cafe Nero, Cafe Costa, Costa Cafe. I mean, they have good coffee, right? Every time I go to a local cafe, and I'm not gonna name anybody in the local community, but if they listen to this, they should think about it, consider, and if they have any Italian, Portuguese, French, maybe more Italian or Portuguese customers. Ask them, about what do you think of this coffee, right? Because and sometimes it's not probably not the coffee, just the way is made with the machine, right? If the machine is not right temperature, or you burn the coffee, and then when the coffee is burned, it's not a pleasant experience. Anyway, it's just a thought, right? But I like to help local businesses. If I can, I spend my money in local. I like to go to markets. I like to go to food markets, for example, and
Mm.
I go to Kingston Market sometimes, and I have lunch there and stuff. The thing is the type of offer sometimes. If I want, I don't know, a piece of tech or anything, I can't find it locally. You have to go online. So if one of these businesses they want to thrive, and if they want to continue, I mean they have to up their game. They have to they have to invest online, and it's like you do, like on social media and all this stuff. Because if I write something, I can't find anything locally, and that could be a problem. And that, yeah, I mean, but on the other side, for example, there are great places to eat in London, and great food businesses in London. Maybe they don't have the best coffee, but they have great food. And in Teddington, for example, in Hampton Hill, you have good businesses.
Yeah, there's like a lot of small, like fringe restaurants where they really put a lot of pride. Even, I'll be honest with you, some pubs really take their food serious. You still get pubs
Yeah,
you go in, like taste like it's out of a ready meal packet. But on the whole, most people, yeah, food. There's a lot of places, passionate chefs out there of many different food styles. But you're right, Teddington, Hampton Hill. There's a lot of nice little restaurants there. It's
yeah.
changed.
It's changed in the last. I mean, that's my impression. It has improved a
Mm,
lot and very good. My other half is Italian, and we go to Italy often, and we eat Italian food, and we eat pizza, and
mm.
there are a couple of pizza places in Hampton Hill that we love it, and every now and then we order a pizza, and it's almost like if you ask her, and when you ask an Italian about pizza, they say it's good. It's because it's good,
Yeah, it's
and,
good.
and
Well,
it's really good.
yeah, when this is finished, you have to tell me.
I can
Tell
tell
me.
you now, I don't have any problems. I can. It's a Unico 28
Okay.
Pizza Bristo. I mean, it's in Hampton Hill. Well, my kid loves it. My 2-year-old. I mean, every time someone knocks the door now, for some reason, he says, "Oh, pizza, pizza." You think someone is delivering a pizza. It's lovely. I mean, it's fantastic food. Anyway, um, I'm getting hungry with the
Yeah.
with this conversation. How long you've been an entrepreneur?
So probably since my first company. So I graduated from college. I didn't go to university. I went into business instead. So I was just 20 before my 21st birthday. I'd become a company director in a joint partnership with two other directors. I was the youngest one. So since then, since I was 20, by the time I was 21, I was company director. So 20.
Okay, that's quite.
Next, I'm 44. So yeah, 24 years I've been in independent business.
That's quite a long time.
Yeah, life I've worked for myself. So
Yeah,
it's nice I
um,
give myself a day off here and there.
I mean, you look younger. To be honest with you, 44. I wouldn't give you 44.
Okay, I like you too.
I mean, if you would have to name 3 people that have been influential to you.
Or God, many people have been influential. I mean, I've been fortunate. I think you get back what you sort of put out. So been a number of people that believed in me, but or supportive. 3 people. Well, that's a really tough question.
You can name only 2 if he helps. I mean, it's okay.
I don't know, because I wouldn't want. I feel bad. There've been a number of people that are supportive. I feel like I'm like on a positive thing, so it's hard. Like if I'm going to generalize it a bit rather than name names. Like my friends are very supportive. Like I've got best friends. I've got a great partner as well. You know, my family, my mum, my sister, I'm very close to. Like these people all sort of add up. Where I've got a lot of people that are, I don't know, just sort of want the best of me sort of thing.
Do you think is there anyone like in the music business or in the sports business that you would aspire to be, that was an influence to you, for example? That might.
So bringing it to that, because there's honestly, I'll be, it's like an Oscars, and I could be naming people like, because there's so many people that I respect that have been influential. But so within martial arts, my master, had I not met him and him not believed in me, I wouldn't have opened my schools.
Okay.
And he, you know, when I said to him, you know, I messaged him a couple months ago, I'm having a second school, and then I thought, I'll be honest, between you and me, I was thinking about opening up a third. But anyway, so I said to him, oh, my empire started. He said, your empire started years ago. So he's been a supporter and can't believe the amount of growth that I've achieved. You know, some of the other masters in martial arts that helped me with business, Master Kassar as well. He taught me a lot about the business stuff. A lot of people, really my master, he's, you know, I have a great relationship with him. And had I not have met him, I would have been doing what I probably would have, music and other things, but I'm happy of doing this.
Yeah.
So he's a great influence.
And of course, having the support of family and friends is also positive, right? I think each friend has its own place, right? There's no.
Yeah, I think it's just been. This is another important thing as well. It's just doing your best, or it is my belief. I might not be other people's, but it's just having good relationships with people around you. Not being afraid to let people support you. I, on the whole, try and support other people, but also sometimes you need help and support. So it's having that good connection, and then that brings opportunities, I believe. Sort of a happiness. People are happy for you, and you're happy for them. Like there's always going to be difficulties to overcome. That's for sure. But yeah, just all that sort of stuff. Just positive relationships helps in business, I think, and personal.
Yeah, is there any myth about your profession that you would like to debunk?
So a myth is that, okay, so one myth is a lot of people underneath want to be self-employed or have the desire to be, and don't know how to make that jump. I think the biggest myth about it is that you feel you can't do it, or maybe people go into the safety working for other people. Basically, if I can do it, anyone can do it. It's a massive myth. It's just the main risk is, I think it's like the black belt thing. You just work on it and have to be realistic that you start at the bottom and work, build bit by bit. And it is literally, it's just a choice. And that, so there's nothing, you know, people would love to have their own businesses, but you just have to believe in yourself. Maybe have a job on the go so you've got your income and build it up until it takes over. You've got to think about it sort of logically or laterally. So you don't, you know, so you want to build it, but just go for it, do it, believe, do it. And it will just build it bit by bit, and it will come, is what I believe.
Is that the advice you would give to someone like that wants to pursue?
Into the world, but the myth is that you can't, that you believe you can't do it. That's the myth. You can do it. You can be your own, the other, you know, the top of the company. That's how they all started their companies. Basically, the myth is that you believe, or society wants you to believe you can't do it. You totally can.
Yeah. What makes you wake up in the morning? What motivates you?
I like achieving things. I like doing things. I don't like unresolved things, so I'm very driven. I have, you know, I'm not saying it's all smooth sailing, you get problems. I don't like unresolved problems. So I like sorting things. I see a problem as an opportunity. It means it's not, you know, if there's a problem, I see if you resolve it, it's better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just have a drive to build a dream, and I like to make them happen. And you just determination, just build it bit by bit. And a Red Bull every now and then, not promoting it, but sugar.
It helps
Sorry,
the keeping active. I'm on the coffee, right? So I have a espresso machine.
so that coffee, boom, morning, boom, let's go and get it. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard sometimes to keep motivated, isn't it? Like to wake up in the morning and have that self-discipline. What's your routine like? In the morning when you wake up. I mean, do you follow like a routine?
I guess so. I mean, I have to be structured. So I would just sort of get up. I basically, at the moment, it changes. So at the moment, I get up. I teach an online stretch class because the gyms are shut. Usually, I go to the gym. So I basically get up, have my breakfast, feed my pets, go training. Then I do admin for a bit. I'm teaching classes 4 days a week. So at the moment, it's online from home. But obviously, next week, I'll be back physical, dealing with the people around that because the the students, adults, children plus parents. I'm dealing with a couple of hundred people a week, doing all the admin, and so yeah, I'm basically involved and training twice a week as well as a student. So basically, I'm involved in martial arts and training 6 days a week. So I personally go to the gym and train 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, religiously. So that's my routine at the moment. It's pretty much martial arts, building a school, a little bit of PlayStation thrown in, spending time with my partner, my personal life as well. Yeah, so it's pretty much the same week in, week out. But essentially, it's like, for me, it's hard work. But my friends are like, I'm getting paid to go to gym. But it's nice. I'm going there, just being physical. Most of what I do is physical. Yeah, and just building.
Yeah, because
Just,
it's part of your lifestyle, right? So
yeah, it is. So it's like a normal day for me. That is my lifestyle's gym, training, teaching.
if money wouldn't be a problem for you, would you keep going with this? I mean, this is what you would actually do for living?
I
Oh.
mean, if I won the lottery sort of scenario.
Yes, let's imagine you wouldn't have any problems from tomorrow on.
Uh,
You have no
no,
problems with money.
I need to do something. That's the type of person I am. So I wouldn't retire in that sort of way. No, I would, if I want a bit of money in the lottery, I'd just funnel it into what I'm doing, expand it massively.
Okay,
My,
so
my, my,
you would carry on this journey.
yeah, no, this is my career for the rest of my life.
Okay, this is what you
That,
love, that you aspired. Uh,
my work, what I do, I believe you should love everything that you do. So my work, my personal life, everything. I believe that you should love what you do. So
Yeah, I mean, it's very important. It's very important and very hard to achieve. I mean, I don't know I would like to understand and to know the numbers of actual people do what they love, right? Not many people do what they love,
I mean,
right?
see, the thing is, we're doing what you love. Like I love what I do. It's like it's physical martial arts, blah blah. So
Yeah.
it's a business. When I was doing music, so I just believe that you should love what you do. That's my philosophy of life. Some years you get more money from it, some years less. So it's not all about that, but generally, the ceiling of working for someone else, money is a lot less than working for yourself because you're only limited by the opportunities and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
I could I
Yeah,
couldn't I couldn't agree more. I mean, I totally agree with you in that sense. You need to try and pursue your dreams and do what you enjoy the most. And money is not always everything, right? Even sometimes if you have to compromise, but if that enriches you as an individual and and contributes towards your happiness, I think you should pursue it. I mean, obviously, you shouldn't pursue, I mean, some silly dream that is never. You need to know, what you can achieve, right? What you can actually do. Like for example, I love football. I've always loved watching football and playing football, but I understood from an early age that I was not good at it, right? Even with with the training, even if I would train as probably Cristiano Ronaldo, the talent was just not there. So I knew from the fact that I could not pursue a career in football. Or maybe I could if I would have put in the effort, but was not meant to be. But still, I always try to do stuff that I like, that I enjoy, right? So that I can please myself, because otherwise it just becomes very monotonous. The life becomes boring, and it's like work homework is not a life. Well, at the moment we are all home, most of us. Well, I'm privileged that I can do my job from home, so I'm not going to complain. But I enjoy what I do, right?
Mm.
To a certain extent. Is it my dream job? I'm not sure. I haven't found yet my dream job or my dream activity. I hope one day I will find it, and I'm pursuing that, and I'm trying different things. I'm trying different activities, but I can tell you that I enjoy my job very much because you know I work as a sales professional. I work with technology, so I help companies, so I help customers. So it's exciting. It's an exciting space, and it's never the same. It continues to change, and that's important. With COVID, people working having to stay home. Some of these, or great number of people losing their jobs. How has this impacted your business?
It obviously, with the first lockdown being so long, and each month going on the uncertainty, because it was the first time for the entire world going through it, it made it harder. So in terms of when I mentioned all these Google things like that, that was all stopped in its tracks. No,
Okay.
not a single inquiry for 3 months, and usually I get a few, considering I'm just a small person building up a business sort of thing. So it was a worry, and obviously as the months went on, numbers start to go down. However, I've also, the fortunate side of it, it just sort of went onto a plateau. A lot of my students, I've been fortunate that I've lost very few, in the
Okay.
sense of, or for whatever reason, I don't know if it's about me or the way I focus on my work or my martial arts, students just wanted to continue. In a way, we gave them a lifeline, meaning that because I immediately moved to like a professional production broadcast into homes, in the first lockdown, they would tune in because it gave them some purpose and stuff like that. Obviously, I can't say that it was a great glowing business time. It wasn't. A lot of worry of what ifs. It just went on a level. A few
Yeah.
left. I did sign a few as well. A few joined, it just stayed like that and then just slowly went off. And then once that lockdown ended, within weeks, the school just grew to pretty much nearly every class is full. And then it's just gone on to this second lockdown being shorter. I've not lost a single person as of yet. I'm not saying they can't go, they're free to leave, but it's sort of, so the point is, I think what I've done and the way the school is, we give people something positive in terms of financially. Obviously, if people have financial issues, they can always stop or continue, or I think the area, bearing in mind, depending on where people are listening, it's the area we're in of Richmond Borough. For the average person, they probably got savings in their house. They're probably not massively. There are probably other areas of the UK that are really
Struggling.
affected.
Yeah.
We're quite privileged around here that a few months of uncertainty is probably not the work. Like, it's manage. We'll manage it. We make the best.
Yes, I mean some people can maybe lose their job, but while they find another one, they still have some savings and they can keep on paying the fee to keep healthy, right?
It's I think it's a case of, we were all in it. It was a threat. I was worried my school was going to go down. Everyone's worried about losing their jobs, but the thing is, everyone didn't sack everyone across the whole of life. We all just sort of held and just waited. So the thing is, but equally, people were saving money. They weren't going out on holidays. They weren't going shopping. They weren't paying for food. So all the money's sitting there. Everything just stopped for a bit. All I could do as a business was try and survive and beam a bit of happiness into people's households and just, survive.
Do you think technology had a play in that, and in a way saving your business?
In a way, yeah. So obviously through Zoom, stuff like this. But I'll be honest, my story is not a common story. A couple of schools have experienced this. Most have took massive losses. It's been difficult, maybe because of their scenarios of where they've not been able to broadcast or this and that. So our engagement's been good. Like, all our students have been continuing. Technology's definitely helped. I never would have even thought it was possible to teach without going there, setting up. I would just never have considered it was possible. Yeah. And then doing that, it sort of taught me a lot of stuff as well. People do want the physical, is the bottom line. They want to come to a class. However, it was a lifeline.
Yeah.
You embracing. So again, it was using that mindset, embracing a bit of change. It was a risk. I thought the business was going to go down. I've just built it up. It's just getting there, and then I'm going to watch it go down into a pit of flames. Is what I thought. I was like, oh, this couldn't. What a disaster, as most people are thinking. But yeah, through Zoom and just a good use of that and communicating with people.
Do you think, like, moving forward, and once we over this pandemic and things go back to normal, do you think is something that you can deploy? I mean, that you can continue to use and scale to help you scale your business?
So I think because of this, I think there are a lot of companies out there now, offices realizing, hold on, do we need all this office space? Do we need all this travel? Hold on, we've got this. For my business, people want the physical.
Yes.
I will always have to prioritize putting them in a space, and ultimately, when we can put them back together, hitting each other, stuff like that. People need the physical, the buzz about it. I do have the option, if I want to run a little workshop, I could do it online, I could do a little something like that. But on the whole, for my business, although it's convenient to do that, I want to give people, I'm just giving people the best of what I can give them at the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's important, but do you think, like, in a couple of years that things are not going to change in a way that people would want to have one of your classes online, or that option? I'm not saying, let's say,
Yeah, this has opened up a new landscape. There'll be a lot of businesses realizing, hold on, do we actually need, we can provide, certain things. At the end of the day, for what I do, I have to give people what they want, but it opens up a new option where, so for example, I've gained, or there was a point where I gained students from nowhere near here. So I continue to broadcast lessons so that they can still train without having to travel 15 miles to the class. I could not have done that without Zoom and
yeah, it's
technology.
true.
So yeah,
I mean, and the advantage is, for example, now if I travel, if I go somewhere, and if I want to still attend your class, I can do it, right? But I get it. I get what you're saying. It's not the same. It's nice when we are in a crisis situation and we are in
it's
lockdown.
effective, and rather than not,
Yeah, they're not
but
doing it.
yeah, generally people like the real thing. I think is a feeling. But if they can't have the real thing, then they're still it's still an option rather than nothing at all.
Yeah, you need that contact, right? You need to see people. You need to have that physical contact, and I think that's important. It's important that we get out of our houses. We can't carry on in this situation. That's how I see it, right? Of course, it's a thing of the future. We don't know if tomorrow people are going to be traveling as much, or if everything all of a sudden is going to become virtual, right? And if you see the new generations now, I mean, the world for them is online, and you can see, you probably, I mean, we're almost the same generation, and I played a lot outside in the street when I was a kid, right? And when I go today back home, I don't see any kid playing outside. Even the other day, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I was asking, do you actually see, those, we were 10, 15 kids riding bicycles. Then when we reached the legal age to ride the bicycle, we started riding, to ride the motorbike, we start riding motorbikes. We were like on 50 cc's and all that. We had like by 20 strolling around, going around, cycling, riding bikes. Nowadays, you don't see any of that. Everyone is indoors. Kids are indoors on social media. I don't know what they're doing, but it's not the same lifestyle.
No, I agree. Yeah, so when I grew up, it was the same. We were very outdoorsy, out on our bikes, circling around.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was actually near. I grew up in Teddington, Stanley School. I went to, so I was a kid around there and used to go out. Video games if I'm out, but it was more sort of outdoorsy.
You still see some kids in Teddington going, in their bicycles and stuff. Maybe not as many as during your days. What I mean by that is that maybe our habits are changing. Maybe people will start just be online, being more indoors, interact less.
Yeah, some people are about their kids like online too much, not outdoors enough. But then equally, the information and the way they're educated now, these kids, some of them are taught such intelligent and brainy stuff, maybe through accessing all this information. Is the upside. The downside is they could be stuck on video games and need to get out and live a
Yeah.
life. But these kids now are so smart, and they're trained in all this, psychology, sociology, business. Like they're so aware of the world that
Yeah, I mean, nowadays you can train yourself pretty much on anything online. I mean, you can do your own self-training. You have all sorts of information. When I first came to the UK, this was in 2001, there was not such thing as social media or even smartphones or anything like. Even to find a job here was hard. I mean, you had to go word of mouth, asking around where you would find a job. That's how it was. There were jobs available, but it was not like today. The second time I came to the UK after I left, I found a job in Portugal. I signed the contract in Portugal. So before I came, I already had a job. That's how it changed in, I don't know, 10 years. So now everything's online. Right now, if you want to work in Amsterdam, you find a job online. You go work in Amsterdam. You do an interview on Zoom. They give you a job. That was unthinkable, and but it's a window of opportunity. Hopefully, it will improve our quality of life. I think that's what technology does, and you manage to adapt your business right in a crisis
yeah,
situation.
yeah, that's all the best I could do is just accept it, go with it, and adapt the best I can. My main thing was survive it.
Yeah, and you did very well.
Yeah, ambition, growth, that was not in it. It was just survive.
Yeah, survive in a way also providing value to the community because to me he added a lot of value because after all those months in lockdown was an escape, right? Going to your class, do a bit of exercise, see different people, have a chat. It's important. It's important for your mental health because this lockdown has certainly affected many of us. Already with the pre-existing mental health issues or with new mental health issues for being on lockdown. It's like being in prison, right? You can't do any, and then with all scared of getting the virus and so on. But that's an whole other topic. Anyway, you adapted well your business, and that's the most important thing, and things are going well for you. Where do you see yourself in and the school in the next 5 years? I think you mentioned that early on, but if you want to
Yeah. So within 5 years, I'd like to have an academy, which
okay.
is the pandemic sort of alters that timeline a bit, or again, life is not a straight line, is it? So you have to
Of
work
course.
around. But I would still like to feel, or from after Christmas, I'm going to start planning within, hopefully by the end of 2021 or start of 2022, to open up an academy. So I'm aiming for sort of say a 12-month period, because this pandemic's just start easing down, the vaccine sort of balancing out, because these things can only ever really last a couple of years anyway.
Sure.
Historically. But yeah, no, so just working towards an academy. So within 5 years, it will then take another pressure of the financial aspect of that risk and building it. So I'd like to feel that academy would be resolved and built up to a point. Within 5 years, that should be in a good place.
Okay. Do you think one day, would this be a wish of yours to kind of franchise it, like across the country?
So my plan is to have more than one academy.
More than one academy.
Yeah. So my dream, or what I'm building towards, because this is my career now for what I'm going to do until as long as I can work. I'd like to have 2 academies, and I'd like to have a number of other interesting schools around the UK. Is really what I would like.
Okay, that's really interesting. I hope you can achieve that. I hope you.
Just worldwide domination. I don't ask for too much, do I?
No, not at all. You have to be positive, right? You need to believe in it to achieve it, right?
National domination.
Yeah, you need to have that mindset and be positive about it and believe in yourself and in your business model, right? It's like when you work in sales. The most difficult thing is when you're trying to sell something you don't believe on. So you don't believe in. and I've been there before. And when you don't believe in the product, you don't sell it, so you're not successful, right? And when you are an entrepreneur, you need to believe in your product. That's one. And I also think you need to believe in yourself, most
Mm.
of it, and stay and be focused, being committed, and have all the disciplines and so on. Where can your listeners find you online?
Okay, so I have two schools, teddingtonmartialarts.com. Teddington, those that don't know, is a part in Richmond Borough in southwest London, so teddingtonmartialarts.com. And we've just got another school now, sheppertonmartialarts.com. So Shepperton's in the sort of Spelthorne, Staines, Sunbury area. So just in the next sort of borough over that way. Yeah, so look up either of those, then you find us. And then we've got links through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that sort of stuff
Yeah.
that you find from those little pools.
I will share those on the description as well, so everyone can access. I can tell from experience is a great school with a great sensei. It's good for the body and for the mind. I strongly recommend it. What does entrepreneurship means to you?
Looking for an opportunity in a business in something that you have a feeling for, something you enjoy. You might weigh up a few options, so it's coming up with something that you feel is tangible, like you've already said. It's a product you believe in. That product can be yourself, a service, a physical thing, but maybe look at a few ideas if you're an entrepreneur or unsure which way you want to go. So look at what one works best, because they might not all work as well as each other. Just having belief in something that you believe in, being self-employed in a way, and just going for turning it into a business, even if that means you're coming, maybe want to be entrepreneurial, you're working something, you might transition to that. So have that as a safety transition. And once that becomes big enough, you let the other one go. So think of it mathematically like that. But yeah, just believe in, you find the things, what do I believe, what's important to me? What do I want to do? And that's my lifestyle, my way of life, what I'm selling. That's, I guess, my view on it.
If uh, if I would ask 8-year-old Nikki, uh,
Mhm.
what would you want to be when you grow up? I mean, is this what you
Uh, that was a
aspire
while.
to?
I'll assume that I wouldn't tell you it was an astronaut. No, I don't know. Probably back then I didn't even know what business was at 8. I was just,
We didn't.
you know,
I mean, it's
I was.
normal. I mean, I think when we're at that age,
You could have
every
asked.
month we want something different.
Yeah, you could have probably asked me about Star Wars back then, or a Star Wars figure or a toy. Kids like toys and that. You don't really know back then. But I think I always felt like I wanted to do something. You sort of, I don't know, you just feel, I guess we all feel sort of like we want to do something in a way. I think
Yeah.
it's just what we try and instill in our kids that we teach as well. It's just self-belief. It doesn't matter about, yes, it's martial arts, but it's just, you want to, it's that confidence, and also being sensible, like to believe in yourself. You just want to go, you just want to be the best version of yourself and keep improving.
That's very
So I
good.
think, as a kid, they're innocently just thinking about the simple things in life, sweets, toys, and that's pretty much what's important in it. But yeah, just believe in yourself and be strong and go for it. It doesn't matter what you do and what mistakes you make. You just, so 8-year-old Nikki would have probably just wanted to watch Star Wars, to be honest.
Thank you very much for turning up today, Nikki, sir. It has been a pleasure talking to you, and I'm sure our listeners will be thankful as well for for your insight and the knowledge you have shared today. So, for those who are listening, I leave all the details for the school below, so you can follow all the social media, the website in both Teddington and Shepperton. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Is a massive help. It will help us grow the channel and, of course, create more content. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Thiago.
Thank you.
Excellent.